Before I start speaking to the topic I've picked for myself today, I believe that it is fitting to commend the creatives amongst us who have served the cause of liberation with their heart. And I would love to single out Bello Galadanchi, Idris, Abdukarim, particularly. That is without prejudice to a host of others, such as Basket Mouth, Macaroni, and yeah, Charlie Boy, Baba, a whole lot of others, Jasmine Olofi, quite a number of others who have devoted themselves, beautiful Nobel, devoted their lives to speaking, using their heart to conscientize the people and to seek their liberation. In this age of consumerism, where everything is about making money, it is refreshing to see that without snaring at those looking to make money, and you can make money and at the same time serve the cause of liberation. I commend you, Lord. Thank you very much. May God strengthen you. How can I forget someone like David, for instance? So, at the end of the day, whatever it is that God has seen fit to bless you with in terms of creativity or gifts, use it to serve a purpose higher than making money. It's not just about making money. And these gentlemen have proven it. Thank you. God bless you all. So, welcome once again to what should we call it now? Church, Sunday school, school of life, whatever you would deem to call it. Welcome this morning. Today, I would like us to speak to the subject citizenship and the leadership question. You know, the more I have pondered our circumstances, the more I began to see connective tissues between deficiencies in one area that explains the deficiency in another area. So, whilst we've often described our problems as systemic, I'm not too sure we've actually quite appreciated the exact nature of the uniqueness of our mess. I'll try my best to explain, or as you Igbos would say, elucidate. So, in looking at the question of leadership, because very often in Nigeria, we are quick to point at leadership as the basis of our problems. And whilst even I have been guilty of this in the past, I am beginning to suspect that it is actually quite simplistic to say that the Nigerian problem is leadership. And don't worry, I'm not buying into that nonsense that is even just as simplistic. The one that I would say is a problem of followership. Nonsense. If you're saying it is a problem of followership, you're suggesting that there is leadership. So, but don't let's get ahead of ourselves. We'll take it one at a time. But I would like to layer my sermon this morning on a Yoruba wisdom. And it is the one found in the Yoruba proverb. It says, Amokun, Amokun, ẹrù ẹ wọ́, olórí lẹ̀ ń wò, ẹ wo ìsàlẹ̀. What does this mean? You say to the crippled man hobbling along that the load that is on his head is imbalanced and is cured. And he says to you, why do you focus on what is on my head? Why don't you examine my feet, the foundation of my being? The Nigerian problem of citizenship and the leadership question are foundational in nature, and it is best to attempt to explain this by looking at the doctrine of citizenship or its meaning. What does it mean to be a citizen? What is citizenship? I have spoken about this at great length. I've written about it at great length. I shouldn't have to spend too much time explaining what a citizen is or what the concept of citizenship is about. But for the benefit of those who are coming across me for the first time, or just for the sake of completeness, shall I say, I would attempt a concise definition. A citizen is a member of a state that is governed by law. You get that? A member of a state governed by law. Note that I didn't say a democratic state. I said a state governed by law. So a Chinese person, even though China is not a democracy, quote and unquote, is a citizen of a country governed by law because arbitrariness cannot apply to the Chinese person, save and except as prescribed by the law. So, China is governed by law, and the people who live within its boundaries are equally governed by law, be those the rulers or the ruled. This is the critical difference between states governed by law and those that are governed by impunity or the will of men. Okay? So yes, you carry a Nigerian passport. You have been lied to multiple times. You've embraced the lies and you've told yourself that you are a citizen. But the country whose citizenship you claim is not one that is governed by law. So in reality, you are not a citizen. We can discuss what you are. We can agree what that might be at a later date. But the one thing that we can all agree on is the fact that you are not a citizen. If you doubt it, I'll remind you of Boratai's convoy. You remember that one in Kaduna State? Remember we agreed the Kaduna State panel of inquiry established as a fact that 430 human beings were slaughtered. They were not citizens. Nobody was held accountable. Lekki Toll Gate massacre. Nobody held accountable. And you know what's worse? Some of you justified it for various reasons. The Shia were not Muslim enough, they are apostates, so they're not human beings, they could be killed. So they are not citizens, all right? So, and then the ones that Lekki Toll Gate, what are they doing there? They are hype up or something or the other. They are troublemakers, they are protesters, so they are deserving of murder. And some of you joined in line that it didn't happen. And even those of us who wailed and cried that it happened, what happened? Nobody was ever held responsible. Persons were promoted within the armed forces who were culpable in this. Nobody ever paid for any of those crimes. So let's be clear. You are a member of the Nigerian state, but you are not a citizen. All right? So let that one stay in one side first. Then the second leg of this subject, citizenship and the leadership question, is the subject of leadership. What is leadership? We speak about leadership all the time, and a lot of people make the error of thinking that whenever somebody occupies a high position in Nigerian office, perhaps a governor, a senator, a House of Reps member, a councillor, even an Oba or an emir, the assumption is that these are leaders. But these are fallacies. To lead, you must have a destination to which you're leading the persons to that you have communicated to them and that they are following you to. There is a destination, there is a purpose to which you are leading. Leadership is about leading, going in a direction, and people are following. Those are leaders, those who have vision and a destination in mind that they have either communicated or by sheer force of their character, people follow. Those are leaders. People without destinations in mind and who have communicated no vision behind which the people might queue is not a leader. Might occupy a leadership position, but that does not make the person a leader. Remember that Turkish proverb. It says very clearly that if you make a clown a king, the palace merely becomes a circus. The clown does not become a king. You have all kind of people who are not leaders occupying leadership position in Nigeria. And because of this, because of the absence of vision, they are leading the people astray because they have been given to their perversion. Leaders must have vision. Citizens must be ruled by law. There is a correlation between citizenship and patriotism. Patriots make leaders because it is when the person is steeped in the love of country, it is at that point that you begin to dream lofty dreams in relation to the country. You begin to see the country as an organism that is higher than the self. And it is at that point that you can envision beyond your own lifetime, because the vision is rarely ever for a single person's lifetime. If it is visionary, you cannot achieve it in your lifetime. But you have to communicate that vision, and it is the force of that vision by which you lead the people. So, we have people sat in leadership positions who have no visions in their eyes. They're dead. The only thing they've been given to are essentially their appetites. Look, the concept of motherland speaks to a country that suckles, that nurtures the citizens, that is there like a mother. That is why they say, oh, my motherland. The Nigerian cannot speak to a motherland because the country does not nurture, because it is not anchored to the rule of law. Instead of nurturing, it is a most hostile space where EFCC men will stroll into a hotel and be slapping a woman for whatever reason. Soldiers who kill human beings unharmed for whatever reasons. A high government official will believe himself offended and imprison an innocent victim of the state for no justifiable reason. I was watching the Kenyan uprising. And I realized that the day after the uprising began, I believe 90 something people were hauled before a judge, and the police was asking for detention orders, and the judge released all of them. If it was a Nigerian situation, we'd probably be looking at 2 years whilst those protesters will still be in jail, and somebody will sit as a magistrate and find a basis upon which not to offer them bail, continuing to ask that the DPP just continues to find a reason to keep them in prison. I am told there are people from NSAS who are still in jail. Some of them haven't seen the inside of a courtroom. And we are in a democracy, and you are citizens. So Nigeria does not nurture, it's hostile. If anything, it's like a cannibalistic sow. You know those pigs that birth and then eat their young? That's what Nigeria has become. Cannibalistic mother. So there is no motherland. But does it protect? Does it provide? Is it a fatherland? Oh no, I don't know. If Nigeria were to be a father, it would be probably the most irresponsible father in the entire wide world. We've got like 15, 16 million children. That's the population of a whole lot of countries slapping the streets without any skills. A lot of them drug addicted. And leadership is meant to come from this. After 9/11, and at the height of American paranoia, you know what they call the primary agency they set up for the protection of their country? Homeland Security. Homeland. It's the concept of this is our home. Yeah, we can take the war everywhere else in the world, but this is our home. So, Homeland Security. Homeland Security pulls probably one of the highest budgets behind defense. That's how serious they take the defense of their homeland, because they take a whole heap of pride. It's not just motherland or a fatherland, it's homeland. You know what I'm saying? It's homeland. Is Nigeria our homeland? Have we developed the concept of citizenship? No. Has the country itself allowed for citizenship? No. So we've not built a homeland. We don't have a motherland, we don't have a fatherland, of course, no homeland. Look, you need citizens before you can have leaders. What we have are dealers. They're not accountable to us because they are themselves not citizens of Nigeria. Each and every one of them, almost without exception, is carrying some foreign passport or the other. They are not citizens of Nigeria, so how can they lead Nigeria? How? How can they lead Nigeria when they are not citizens of Nigeria? Their homes are not in Nigeria. Their doctors are not in Nigeria. Their dentists are not in Nigeria. And all apologies to the gelato eating Oga, a lot of them, even their restaurants are not in Nigeria. If they feel like having a good meal, they hop on their private jet and fly off to Monaco or Paris or anywhere else in the world but Ajegunle, you know? So, how do you expect to have leaders when in reality what you have are dealers? You don't believe me? Let me share one with you. I challenge you. Take out the time. Educate yourself on the subject of this GMO food. And then come back and tell me that a country that is truly led, where those in charge of the safety and affairs of the people, truly care about their people, will they allow all these genetically modified foods that we don't even begin to understand exact effects? Would they allow it? Would that solve the problems of insecurity that is chasing farmers away from their farms? Is that what we really need at this point? To become dependent on the West even for the seeds that we will plant? Who has bewitched us? Every seed reproduces after its kind. If you must have leaders, true leaders, visionary leaders, you must have citizens. The challenge of the Nigerian is to fight to become citizens above